Hi friends, I'm back with another part of our Easter story today. Today we are going to get into the next part of our story. Yesterday we talked about the part of the story where Jesus washed his friends' feet. He was showing them kindness and love, and even though he was being so kind and so loving, still one of his friends did not want to have Jesus's love. He wanted to have money more. And we remember his name is Judas. He is helping some bad guys make sneaky secret plans about how to hurt Jesus and catch him. And he is making some bad choices. And Jesus is letting him make the bad choices because he knows what's going to happen. So after Jesus had dinner with his friends, they went outside to a garden, and it was nighttime, and Jesus decided that he was going to pray. They went out to the garden near some trees. The stars were shining brightly in the sky, and Jesus knew that soon everything was about to change. "Wait here," Jesus told his friends, and he went alone up to some trees to pray by himself. There he is. He's praying in some trees and the stars. He's all alone. He sat down and started to pray. "Dear Jesus, dear God," he said. He's Jesus. "Dear God," he said, "isn't there another way without so much suffering?" Suffering means a lot of hurting. "I don't want to be apart from you, God, but I will do whatever you want." There was no other way. Jesus knew that God was going to put all of the sin of the whole world onto Jesus's shoulders so he could save us from our sin. And for the time when Jesus was going to suffer and have the sin on his shoulders, he would be apart from God. He would not be able to talk to God. God would be far away from him because God cannot be close to sin. That would be the worst. But Jesus would do it to save all the men and women and boys and girls from sin and from God's judgment. Jesus knew that this had to happen. Even though he was scared, Jesus was still just a person. He gets scared sometimes too. He was crying even. He was so sad. While Jesus was in the garden, praying, his friends, oh, those foolish friends, guess what? They had fallen asleep. They were asleep in the garden, and they were not taking care of Jesus. Jesus said, "Stay here, I'm going to go pray, you guys." And when he came back, they were asleep. And Jesus went over and said, wake up, hello. There's guys trying to make sneaky plans about me. At any moment, someone could pop out and try to hurt me. You guys have to protect me. Wake up. And he woke them up, and they were so silly. So they said, "Okay, Jesus, okay, we're going to wake up now." They woke up. Jesus went back into the trees alone because he wanted to pray some more and talk to God. Soon he was not going to be able to be with God. And that is the most scary place to be. When you have sin in your heart and you don't want to be close to God, he's not going to be close to you. Even though he always loves you, he can't be close to sin when there's sin in your heart. And Jesus said, "God, I just want to be with you and be close to you." And he kept on praying. And guess what? His friends fell asleep again. And Jesus went back and said, wake up, friends. Someone is here." And he was right. They heard some footsteps coming into the garden. And they heard some clink clanking. Clink clanking? It was the clink clanking of armor on soldiers. They had come to take Jesus away. And Jesus' friends did not protect him. Judas was doing his bad plan. He led the soldiers right to the garden where Jesus was. And Jesus knew exactly what was going to happen. So Jesus went with them. So there's Judas. He's telling the soldiers where they are. Remember they gave Judas some money so that he would tell them where Jesus was. And all he got at the end was money. And he did not have Jesus as his friend after that. Here's one more picture I can show you. There's the soldiers. They came to arrest Jesus and take him to jail. All the soldiers had come. They wanted to take Jesus away. They had a sneaky plan. They did not want people to be saying he was the king or the Son of God. So they took him away. Judas was the one who showed them how to do it. But Jesus knew that if he went with those men, his friends would not be hurt. He knew that if he tried to argue and say, "Don't touch me," or "Get away from me, guards," that they might hurt him or his friends, and he didn't want that to happen. So he decided to go with them quietly. So he went with the soldiers, and they took him away to jail. His friends were left in the garden alone. Judas was left all alone. His friends did not love him anymore because he had done a bad thing to Jesus. And Jesus was taken away. Tomorrow, when you come back to this story, we're going to find out what happens to Jesus and what happens to his friends too. Because Jesus had said already, "I'm going to be leaving soon." And we already know he's not going on a vacation or a cruise. He has to leave this earth. And we're going to find out tomorrow what happens with the sneaky plan and where Jesus ends up, okay? Before I go, I want to ask you a quick question about the story. Question says, was Jesus arrested because he had done something wrong? Think about that. Did Jesus do anything wrong in the story? Did he steal anything or hurt anybody or lie about something? Did he really do anything wrong that he was supposed to be arrested for? Think about that and tell the answer to your mom or dad. And think about if Jesus really did something wrong or the people around him were doing something wrong. What do you think about that? And the other question says, who is making the real plans? Who is making the real plans? Judas did make a sneaky plan, and the soldiers made a sneaky plan, and Jesus made a plan to go into the garden that night, and his friends had made a plan to follow Jesus. But who is really making the real plan? Who is the one who's really making everything happen in the world? Who knows everything that's going to happen? Who knows everybody's thoughts? And who really knows what the plans are and what's going to happen, even though we make plans? Do you know who's really making the plans the whole time? I think you could figure that out when you're thinking about it with your mom and dad. Talk to them about who's making the real plans, even in your own life. You might make a plan today to jump around outside, or you might make a plan to help wash some dishes. But only one person knows if that's really going to happen. Sometimes do you make plans to go to Funzilla and then it gets closed and that can't happen and it's not the plan anymore? Sometimes plans change, and we know who really makes all the real plans in the world. It's God and Jesus. God knew all of the plans in this story. He knew what Judas was thinking. He knew about Judas's plan. He knew about Jesus being in the garden praying and what the soldiers were going to do. He was the one who really made all the plans. So come back tomorrow, you guys, and we'll find out what's going to happen to Jesus and all of his friends in the story. See you later.